And how you doing? Uh, Glad to sort of take it easy on me. It's my first real YouTube video. My name is Martin, and I'm gonna be doing. My channel is gonna be. It's brand new. It's gonna be, unsolved mysteries, crimes, murders, stuff like that. There's a bunch of other channels out there just like this, which is awesome. I love the ones I've seen. I think are awesome. But I'm also going to try to throw a little bit of comedy in there too. And there's nothing comical about murder, and there's nothing comical about serial killers. But I'm going to be doing different stuff just besides that. Uh, I am more of a history buff of more than anything. I am the king of useless knowledge, as far as, shouldn't say king, but as far as it doing anybody any good, no, but I just know, just uh, Jeopardy stuff kind of things. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, the story I'm going to tell today, I think they done a documentary about it. The guy's name was Ken Mclory. Everybody called him Rex. It's happened in Skidmore, Missouri. Well, and Ken was, by all means and purposes, a bully above all else. He was a bully. He was what you'd call first. Let me tell you this. There's been over 200,000 unsolved murders since 1980. One out of every three murders that happen, the killer never does find justice. Or we never find justice to get the killer. That being said, Ken McElroy, or Ken Rex McElroy, was what you'd call the definition of a bully. If you looked up bully in a dictionary, from what I gather, his face would be under it. Now, Ken was born in Skidmore, Missouri in 1934 to Tony and Mabel McElroy, who were sharecroppers. He was one of 16 children now. So, he had a lot of brothers and sisters. Evidently, Tony and Mabel, I don't even see how they had time to sharecrop. But anyway, he was born pretty much a preemie, but that stopped because Ken was a big man. Anyway, when he was younger, whether this had anything to do with his actions when he got older, I don't know. But when he was younger, he fell off a hay wagon and evidently hit his head hard enough that it had to have a steel plate put in it. Well, anyway, Ken, you'd have to see, and you can look him up, was the quintessential stereotype of what a 70s or early 80s, basically say hillbilly badass would look like. He had the long black sideburns, his hair was jet black, he had these piercing blue eyes. He wore real tight, t-shirts, like the packs of cigarettes rolled up, like a pack of Luckies or something rolled up in his sleeve, shirt sleeve, and wore blue jeans and everything. He quit school when he was in 8th grade. He really didn't do well in school and went into a life of crime. Most of it was minor stuff. But Ken's big problem was he's a womanizer, which I ain't saying there's anything good or bad in womanizing. Lord knows that, well, yeah, I know it's hard for me to say me looking like this, but believe it or not, I've actually had my fair share of one woman. Now, jumping from here to there. When you're younger, you do stupid things. Anyway, but this man engaged in not just womanizing, but womanizing with very, very young ladies. girls. He had more than 10 youngins. Okay, if that goes to anything. And he was married 3 times. By many number, the 10 youngins is by a lot of women, and a lot of them probably underage. But in 1971, Ken met a girl named Trina McLeod. Now, Trina was 12 years old at the time. Okay, now you got to take consideration. For one, McElroy was born in 1934, and he was married too at this time. He was taking Trina to school. She was 12. 1971, he was 37 years old. She was 12. Well, after 2 years, she had a youngin'. Him and her had a youngin' together. Well, they was going to get Ken in trouble for molesting Trina. So Ken divorced his third wife and married Trina. How that come along, I don't know, but it gets even better. All 3 of them lived in the same house together after that. Well, Trina went back home to Ken, and their mom and I guess Trina's mom and dad didn't like it as much, so not only did Ken kill their dog, but he burnt the family home down of Trina's. Then began basically Ken's reign of terrorizing. It was him and Trina. Well, Trina didn't do. I ain't saying I shouldn't, involve her in all this, but she stood by Ken. She loved Ken. There's no way around it. But anyway, Ken, the beginning of the end of Ken Rex McElroy started like this. There's a man named Ernest Bowenkamp. Everybody called him Bo, who's 70 years old. Hair's messed up there. Sorry, guys. Like it really mattered. But he owned a little general store, and one of Ken's daughters they accused of shoplifting candy, I think it was. Well, they tried to, Bo tried to, smooth it over and say, hey, it's no big deal, blah, blah, blah. Well, Ken wasn't standing for it. He wasn't having it. So, for God knows how long, Ken would sit outside the store and just intimidate Bo and him, shooting up in the air and everything. Finally, in July of '80, Bowenkamp was sitting in the back at the loading dock, or what they'd call it, like a little, it wasn't really a loading dock, but like a little back thing there, and he's waiting on an air conditioning repairman to show up. Instead, Ken McElroy shows up with a shotgun. And first asked Bo if he wants to fight, and Bo says he ain't got no reason to fight. Now, this is a 70-year-old man, and around that time, I guess, Ken shot him in the neck with a 12-gauge shotgun. Thank God Bo lived, but Ken got out of it because he had a lawyer who he paid big wads of cash to, and he was out on bail at this time. Well, that was the beginning of the end of Ken Rex McElroy as we know it. He didn't know it, but it was starting. Right after that, maybe not quite a year went by, the town had the whole town now. Maybe I think 900 people of the whole town, but I don't know how many was there. But they met at Legion Hall, and they began to come up with a plan to solve this problem. Well, across from Legion Hall was a tavern. It's called the D&G Tavern. And basically, Ken and Trina was in there, and the town people at Legion Hall come in there and basically told Ken McElroy to pack up and head out. So Ken and Trina walked out to his truck, got in the truck, and as they went out, the people in the bar or tavern followed out behind them. Next thing you know, there was shots being fired left and right. 46 witnesses, they said, was there. Mclory was dead. Trina was alive. They got her out of the truck. She swears up and down that when they got her out of the truck that they was debating on whether to kill her or take her up or, and be safe. She said that they done it because, she got kids and all that stuff. Well, when the law finally shows up, no ambulance was called either, by the way, at the time. When the law finally shows up, they find 22 casings and 8mm Mauser casings. They know two things. They know one thing for sure is there was two gunmen. There was one right behind the truck of Mclory's, and then there was one. The second one was probably about a half a block in front of Mclory's truck. The 46 witnesses said they didn't see a thing. Now Trina didn't hold nothing back. She told, but she only named one shooter, a guy named Dale Clement. Now, Trina moved off to basically, I think, somewhere in the Ozarks or somewhere like that. And I think she wound up passing away. Hate to hear that. But nothing else came of Ken Rex Mclory. Here's the thing. Vigilante justice is not a good thing. It never is, even though there's been a few times that I've been mad enough to want to do it, but as the saying goes, what goes around really goes around, so, but there is times that you got to take matters into your own hands, because, see, Mclory wasn't just your ordinary bully, run-of-the-mill bully. He shot a man once in the stomach just because of some kind of, I don't know, some kind of dispute over somebody said something. I don't know. Burning houses down, stuff like that. But later on in the years, Skidmore, Missouri, is like it was cursed after Mclory. No, it wasn't cursed, but I mean, there was a pregnant girl that got killed. Her baby was cut out of her. Young man in his prime basically killed over a drug deal. And just the town basically deserted. And it all stemmed in a downhill spiral after the Mclory killing. So, anyway, if you like what I said, hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. Give me a like or a thumbs up if you do. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Leave comments down below if you like. This is Martin saying, don't take law into your own hands. Take them to Judge Waltner.